Hello, my beautiful doves. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Mina, and today we're going to be talking about the controversial reboot of Sex and the City, also known as And Just Like That, ...
What? ...
That's what they did in the olden days.
Ah, stop it!
Which from this moment forward, I will be abbreviating as SATC or AJLT, respectively, because those two titles are just a mouthful. Sex and the City was a show that aired in the late 90s up into the early 2000s, starring the lives of 4 women in their 30s and 40s. Carrie Bradshaw, our main character, played by Sarah Jessica Parker, Miranda Hobbs, played by Cynthia Nixon, Samantha Jones, played by Kim Cattrall, and Charlotte York, played by Kristen Davis. They all live in New York City, and we follow them through their day-to-day lives, their various relationships, their insecurities, their life-changing events, and even the mundane stuff. It was a beloved show that was known for its over-glamorization of Manhattan, its progressive view on adult female friendships, and of course, its fashion. So SATC has a major cult following even to this day, and so there were a lot of people who were vehemently this is what happens when I try to introduce new words into my vocab.
Okay, whatever.
They were very against this reboot from the get-go. And the reason being because we're missing a core member of our group here, Samantha Jones. They explained in episode 1 that Samantha had cut herself off from the group and moved to London after some petty drama with Carrie that involved Carrie firing Samantha from being her publicist. And that storyline did really bother me because it just seemed very out of character for Samantha to just end a decades-long friendship over petty business drama.
We made a deal ages ago. Men, babies, doesn't matter. We're soulmates.
And on top of that, she allegedly stopped talking to both Miranda and Charlotte, who had nothing to do with this drama, all because she didn't want to talk to Carrie anymore, which again seems very out of character. The explanation was crazy.
Where's Samantha?
She's no longer with us.
And for anyone who needs a refresher on why I'm so heated about this characterization is because Samantha Jones is arguably the most popular character on the show, or at least I like to think so because she was my favorite character.
Samantha Jones was a New York inspiration, a public relations executive. She routinely slept with good-looking guys in their 20s.
Is Hermes French for we take our good old fucking time?
The right guy is an illusion. You understand that? You can start living your life.
Samantha was fun, eccentric, sexually adventurous, unconventional, and a self-made girl boss all in one.
If I worried what every bitch in New York was saying about me, I'd never leave the house.
She was also in her 40s, and so, older than the other women in the cast. And in the last episode, I believe, of Sex and the City, she turned 50 years old. Please keep that in mind, everyone. Samantha was 50 at the show's end, but she was still cool and youthful, going out, dating, and hanging out with younger people. In real life, the reason why Kim decided to leave is allegedly because of all this drama between her and Sarah Jessica off screen.
The people from Sex and the City, and specifically Sarah Jessica Parker, is that I think she could have been nicer. I really think she could have been nicer. I don't know what her issue is.
But long story short, Kim did not want to sign on, and so they couldn't, just replace her with another actress because she was so iconic as Samantha. And even though AJLT included all these new characters who were all really great, there was no one who filled the void that Samantha left. I assume it's because the writers didn't want to clearly replace Samantha by shoving in a character that has all the same attributes.
It was very important to me that LTW sit down, but I didn't want to tell the audience 1, 2, 3, 4. She's the new Samantha. So I had Carrie and Miranda get up and leave.
I should go too.
And she sits at the table.
But Samantha was the modern woman of the group. Her unconventional no marriage lifestyle and her openness to queerness was very progressive in the 90s, but honestly is not too crazy today. So I feel like more than ever in 2022, we deserve someone to carry the torch of Samantha's values. But anyways, I don't want to rant about Samantha this entire video because what's done is done and Kim is obviously happier somewhere else. So yeah, let's move on. I just had to address the elephant in the room because I love Samantha. So does everyone else.
How many sexual partners have you had?
I'm counting. This year?
And now, after saying all that, I have to break the shocking news to you all. I actually enjoyed the reboot. I know, I didn't expect to like it. I expected to hate it from the get-go. I expected to hate watch it, but you know, it crept up on me. It did. It really did. It's definitely not as good as SATC. And did I think the woke stuff was a little cringy? Yes. Yes, I did.
Woke moment.
But I think it's important to remember that these women are in their 50s. They're not like super up to date with the norms of society. Carrie still uses a freaking landline phone. I don't know anyone who uses a landline phone.
A pretty big element of race.
Who's calling in the landline?
And it makes sense that they would blunder like any other white woman in their 50s would, especially considering they didn't have any friends of color before this show.
I think it would be silly to pretend that we haven't been what we've been, you know, for a long time.
The Wexleys can't be the only black couple at the dinner. They're gonna think we don't have any black friends.
In a lot of ways, I think what may seem obvious to Gen Z and younger millennials may not seem so obvious to older generations. For example, the whole like pronouns thing. In the show, Charlotte's child, Rock, doesn't come out, but is kind of like exploring their gender identity, and they want to be addressed as Rock, and they don't want to be addressed as being a girl or as being a boy. And this is very new for Charlotte, and I think it's very new for a lot of parents who are in their 50s. So I think AJLT is able to make these issues palatable to older generations and also give them a space to learn alongside these characters.
This is a journey that we are all on together. We're here for you, and we can recommend a therapist, support group, peer counseling, whatever would help.
I'm also very attached to the characters. Like, I am attached to the three of them. So I think 99% of the reason why I enjoyed this show so much is because it was simply a nostalgia indulgence. I think if I hadn't watched the original show and I just threw myself into the world of AJLT, I would think the show is horrible. I would think it was pretty freaking awful. You know what, fuck it. Speaking of nostalgia, let's get into the fashion, which is I know what you all came to hear, not my rant on Samantha. Molly Rogers and Danny Santiago did the costumes for the show. Molly Rogers worked alongside Patricia Fields from the beginning as wardrobe supervisor, and she and Danny also worked together on the second Sex and the City film, which we will never talk about because it was so racist and just objectively really, really bad.
And there in the middle of old Abu Dhabi was an old love, Aiden.
Molly and Danny clearly know what the show's about, what the character's about, having been there during the heyday of the run. I thought I'd include a few little sound bites from the Dressed podcast that they were interviewed on. During the interview, Molly and Danny explained the individual styles of the main women, which I think can give us a better understanding of how they understand the characters. Let's start with our MC, Carrie Bradshaw.
You know, Carrie, who we always sort of say is whimsical. She has her own style. She dresses for herself. She loves fashion. She loves to have fun with fashion.
She's a statement maker for sure.
She's high and low. She wears everything from vintage to resale to consignment to designer to runway pieces. You name it, she falls in love with it. She's going to wear it, and she's going to wear it her way.
Carrie is the fashion girl of the group. Half her looks are showstoppers, the other half just stop traffic. But the point is, she loves her clothes, she loves shopping.
When and where were you planning to wear this?
Don't do that. Don't mock the clothes.
She's very self-assured in her style, and you can tell that she puts a lot of thought into what she's going to wear for the day.
And for the record, have worn it. December 99, Union Square, book signing.
In my opinion, the way Carrie feels about her clothes is honestly refreshing for this day and age when a lot of people just like to replace their entire closets, like out with the old, in with the new. So I think it's very nice and even respectable that Carrie remembers the event she wore a specific dress to and has this deep sense of sentimentality for what she owns. I kind of wish we were all like Carrie in that regard because we would just be taking so much better care of our clothes if we were.
That dog owes me $380.
fine.
You can't buy it. It's circa 1996.
Some of Carrie's most memorable looks in SATC include her tutu skirt look that she wears in the intro sequence, which she kind of revives in the first episode of AJLT, the Dior newspaper dress, which she wears in season 3, and that you can actually purchase for the low price of $245,000 on First Dibs.
That's some, like, rich people shit. I don't know.
Her Vivienne Westwood wedding gown from the SATC movie, this look with the Comme des Garçons coat in season 3, this Dior slip dress from season 2, and of course, the massive Versace dress that once again gets screen time in the reboot. Carrie is experimental. She wears baggy clothes, tight clothes, slip dresses, flower appliques and patterns, and lots of color, just to name a few elements. I also just love how in AJLT, Molly and Danny chose some of her original pieces to include in this show as well. In the documentary that was released at the same time as the finale, they actually show you the storage unit of SATC costumes that Sarah Jessica got to keep as per her contract. It's a literal dream. It also just makes sense canonically for Carrie to hold on to her old clothes. In the original series, Carrie still had hordes of clothing that she bought in the 1980s, so of course we would see glimpses of her 2000s wardrobe in 2022. Overall, I think they did a good job maintaining Carrie's style. It's definitely more age. She's not wearing the tight silhouettes that she used to wear or low-cut skirts. Instead, she wears a lot of long full skirts and chic blazers. She has a couple crinoline moments as well. I really love this vintage Gautier suit they brought out for her. I love this bizarre smoking outfit with the headscarves, the Bathsheba dress, and the gloves. I didn't really love the Valentino tangerine dress she wore in the finale. Don't get me wrong, it's very Carrie to wear a massive ball gown, but I never saw orange as Carrie's color, and so found the whole look kind of underwhelming, especially since we saw the Versace dress earlier this season. We also see the blue Manolo Blahnik shoes that Big re-proposed to her in, and she ends up re-wearing them the night he dies too. We love some good foreshadowing through clothes. But with all that said, I also think there were a lot of clothing moments that were a little too old for Carrie. For instance, when she's in the hospital bed and she's wearing a layered pearl necklace and a Chanel cardigan, it just looks way too Upper East Side grandma in my opinion. This is actually the one big issue I had with the costuming for Carrie as a whole. While I think they do a good job with maintaining Carrie's tendency to over-accessorize, I think they were maybe a little too overconscious about making Carrie look older, or maybe Sarah Jessica just wasn't comfortable wearing some of the silhouettes that she used to wear. I don't know, but can we please remember that Samantha was supposed to be 56 in the second Sex and the City movie, and she looks like this. And these ladies are supposed to be the same age that Samantha was in this reboot, yet they look way more matronly, way more tired, way older. Like, is this what happens when Samantha leaves the group? Do they all just deflate?
Is that maybe a little young? I don't know. Exactly how old do you think I am? And not that it matters, but I am 50 fucking 2 and I will rock this dress.
So yeah, I would have actually liked to see Carrie rocking some midriff like she used to, exposing her shoulders like she used to. It doesn't have to be excessive. She doesn't have to be wearing skimpy outfits, but it was just so clear that they were trying to lower all her hemlines and just cover her up more, which I don't think was really necessary. Okay, now moving on to Charlotte.
Could you please not use the F word at Vera Wang?
We always say that Charlotte is sort of our uptown
Polished
mom.
Yeah,
little
I think that's
puzzly.
a better.
She's always got a cinched waist. She's got a very sort of almost like a 1950s type of silhouette in a way to her, like a little Coca-Cola bottle. She's always in the perfect shoe with the perfect bag, with the perfect belt and the perfect hair.
That sounds about right. Charlotte is this polished Upper East Side rich girl. She's always been more conservative talking about her sex life.
Well, I've never done a threesome.
Oh, come on. Of course you haven't. You want a threesome? You won't even wear a thong.
She's more traditional about her views on marriage, family, and love.
Charlotte treated marriage like a sorority she was desperately hoping to pledge.
And she's very wealthy. Did I mention that already? She's also knowledgeable on art, thanks to her previous career as an art gallerist.
That's Alexander Petrovsky, the artist. He is the
In the original show, Charlotte wore a lot of headbands, heritage print and logos like Burberry check, and flared skirts. She has this feminine, floral, frilly, almost preppy element to her style. Pink is definitely her color, and there is this old Hollywood touch to a lot of her costumes, which makes sense, especially because of her love for Elizabeth Taylor. My favorite Charlotte costume moment was when she breaks out of her depressive rut and puts on this bubblegum pink, figure-hugging, strapless dress with oversized sunglasses. She looks just so gorgeous. Another favorite is Charlotte's trashy lingerie moment. That was admittedly a little out of character, but she was smoking, so it's locked in the memory box for sure. In the reboot, we see Charlotte staying in line with the essence of her personal style, though it feels a little bit more secretarial. I don't know if I'm just saying that because of all the pussy bow blouses. She has a $480 Burberry bag charm as a doggy bag dispenser, which I think is hilarious and very Charlotte. I love that Charlotte is not an athleisure mom. She's always dressed to the nines wherever she's going, and I think that's very in character for her considering she's kind of a control freak. And overall, I think they did the best job dressing Charlotte because she didn't feel like as aged as Carrie and Miranda in terms of the way she dressed. The maturity shows up in how her style is subtly tweaked. We see less pink and less headbands, but the elements are still there, like the cinched waist and the romantic blouses. It's a believable and natural progression for Charlotte's style. I actually don't have too much to say about Charlotte for this season because I feel like she didn't struggle as much as Miranda and Carrie. Charlotte seems to accept Rock's identity very readily and doesn't really throw as big a meltdown as I would expect a mom to throw when your child decides to not go through with the very expensive day mitzvah that's been planned for them. She doesn't have any marital issues either.
You still blow Harry?
Is he dying or something?
And yeah, she's just the very perky Charlotte that we all know and love. Life's pretty good.
Charlotte's never dropped a ball in her life.
Okay, let's get to Miranda. Oh my God, Miranda.
And then we've got Miranda.
Who changed the most, I think, of all three of them.
Yeah.
And that was fun to play with her because, you know, she was a corporate lawyer in all the other incarnations of the show. And this time she's going to school, so it was just a more relaxed silhouette for her.
But there's still a tailoring involved to her, I feel like. You know, like, I think we said with, you know, people have asked, well, what would you say is her favorite piece, or what would you say coming out of the series, what was a main piece of something that she wore? And we always say it's a tailored, softer look. It's a softer, tailored look to her. And definitely pants. She looks great in pants.
She looks insane in jumpsuits.
So as a recap, Miranda in the original series was very strong-willed. She was pragmatic. She was a girl boss, the only woman partner at her corporate law firm. She was making bank. She was also incredibly cynical and blunt.
You see, this is why I don't date. The men out there are freaks. Oh, but forget it. I only give head to get head.
But deep down, she was sensitive and more romantic than she'd like to admit. They completely rebooted her character for the show. I'm not talking about the whole sexuality thing because I honestly think we could have seen it all coming. But what tripped me up was, why would she quit her job as a partner at a law firm that she worked her ass off to get to become a student again? Like, I understand someone would want to make a career change in their 50s. Like, that's not unheard of. But it just doesn't seem characteristic for Miranda to kind of drop out of this prestigious role to start all over just because she was compelled by news stories.
It's ridiculous. I want to enjoy my success, not apologize for it.
Bravo, honey, bravo.
So it actually would have been nicer for us, the audience, to be able to see her get to that point where she decides to leave her job rather than to just dive into the series with her having already left her job. Like, maybe she falls in love with Che throughout the season, and it's through watching Che's activism and how they use their platform that makes Miranda consider what she's doing with her own life and how she's contributing to society. I would also not have written in her giving up her internship to fly off to LA with Che. And I know that the writers understand that this is out of character for Miranda, hence why everyone is like kind of shocked that Miranda would do this, and how Miranda is even kind of shocked herself that she wants to do this.
I passed up my internship to be there.
The one you said was impossible to get?
That feels like judgment.
But I still don't buy it, mostly because I don't believe Che would respect Miranda for doing that. Oh, and that's another thing. Like, I just don't see how Che could fall for Miranda, like, at all. I could see Che liking Miranda, the old Miranda, who was, you know, a girl boss and doing her own thing and very independent and self-assured. But this new Miranda is, like, very needy, very low confidence.
Well, when did you DM me?
Like 3 months ago.
3 months? Miranda, you should have just DM'd me again. Ask for what you want.
Very not assured in her identity and her orientation.
Hiding is like so 5 years ago. Hiding isn't the key to anything.
In terms of Miranda's style, she also does like a whole 180. Miranda in the original show was known for her androgynous style. She wore suits, blazers, and button-downs, but also balanced these masculine garments with more feminine dresses on nights out. One of my favorite outfits of hers is actually when she wears this oversized puffer coat with denim overalls and a baseball cap in season 2. I also love this outfit she wears in the same episode. It consists of an orange turtleneck, Fendi coat, and 60s style white shades. This black dress from season 2, also chef's kiss. Season 2 was a good time, now that I'm thinking about it. Miranda's got style. It's a lot more understated than Carrie, but you can tell she dresses for her body. She knows what she looks good in, and she knows what her staples are. Which is why I'm so confused on why they put her in this flowy bohemian vacation wear for the reboot. Like, I kind of get that they're trying to convey that Miranda is relaxing more, but is Miranda even really relaxing? I think it's pretty stressful to drop your career in your 50s and become a student again, and also to deal with your crumbling marriage and your annoying son who doesn't listen to you. Like, I feel Miranda's life is actually pretty stressful, which is probably why she's an alcoholic right now.
2 shots of vodka.
And realistically, I would expect her to cling to what she knows, what she feels comfortable in, which are these stronger tailored silhouettes that I would assume she would wear to also feel like she has things together. Because everything else in her life is just out of control. So as for the other characters, I really liked them, as I said. We see some old character favorites like Stanford, who continues to rock the most colorful, most fun suits. I was really, really sad to hear that the actor who played him, Willie Garson, passed away during the filming of the show.
He came first. You know, he was the original gay on the show. You know, and at that time, sometimes there's only room for one gay character. We were going to get to see their turbulent yet dependent and loving marriage, and it was really, really a tough thing, because just losing him and not having him around.
God, I hate him. Come on, we're going over there.
Why?
Because you're in a tank top.
Seema is also my favorite of the new recruits, and her style is so chic, so elegant, so affluent, but still understated, not all over the place. It makes total sense for a character who has a very alluring but gentle demeanor. I noticed that all the side characters have their little style elements that they like to lean towards. So for Seema, it's her silky smooth textures and her brown color palette. For LTW, it's her chunky jewelry and voluminous sleeves. For Naya, it's her vibrant warm colors and fun graphic patterns. And for Che, it's their black on black color palette and touches of silver jewelry. And yes, before anyone says anything, it did make me feel a little weird that every side character introduced was a person of color, but I also understand that the SATC world is predominantly white, and they really didn't need to introduce any more white characters. And personally, I think as long as the POC characters get their own fleshed out storylines, like they're handled as actual people and not just as white girl's best friend or white girl's love interest, then it's totally fine. It's actually more realistic in New York City for people to commingle with other people of all races, of all gender orientations, etc., than to have this very sanitized white New York City, which was shown in the original show.
Gwen, hi! I haven't seen you since Leo moved to Dalton.
I'm not Gwen, but I know who you're talking about.
Even in the editing process, people were like, I'm uncomfortable with that. And I called up Kelly and I was like, Kelly, why is that in the show again? Just remind me why we put it in. She goes, because every dinner party I go to where there's white people, They always think I'm the other fancy black writer.
We're definitely still towing the line with the side characters not having the most fleshed out storylines, but I'm hoping that if the series does get renewed for a second season, that we'll see a lot more of Seema, Naya, LTW, and Che's personal stories that are not so connected to the core three. I keep wanting to say the core four. Overall, I thought the show had a lot of potential. I did have my qualms with some of the plot points. Like, I would have liked to see what happened when Miranda went to Cleveland. Like, that kind of just ended up going nowhere. I want to know what's happening with Steve. I want to know if Steve is still working with Aiden. I kind of wish that the whole Samantha storyline ended differently. Like, you know how they would do montages at the end of the episodes in the original SATC? Like, I would have liked to have had a montage where you kind of see the back of Samantha's head talking to Carrie over drinks when they're in Paris together. That would have been just like a nice touch. I was also talking to my friend Mayanne about the show, and what she said was, I think, really great and a good explanation for why Samantha cut herself off from the group. I would have liked to have seen Samantha respond to Carrie with a text being like, it wasn't just the publicist thing. Like, that was kind of the final straw. I would have liked for Samantha to kind of go into this rant about how Carrie has always been very selfish. I think this is something that the audience knows and that maybe the writers or the producers don't know. I don't know, because they never really address it. At least with Charlotte, they do call her out on her bullshit sometimes.
I didn't call you because you get so emotional.
Because I cried at the funeral.
Because you're crying now.
But for Carrie, they don't really do that. And it would have been nice for Samantha to call Carrie out on her bullshit and be like, you're very self-absorbed and I couldn't be friends with you anymore. And that would have made more sense. And that, I think, would have triggered a new character development journey for Carrie where she learns to kind of prioritize other people and, yeah, to once again not be so self-absorbed.
I've listened to you talk about Aiden for what, 10 blocks and 2 years? And I've been a wonderful audience. And I ask you about my Marcus, and all I get is nice.
I'm also just like nostalgic for the old show format where every episode was more day in the life and had a specific theme to explore, like, you know, threesomes or 20-year-olds in New York City. This new format is way more modern and reflective of other shows that are showing right now. The episodes are longer, they're more dramatic. And I understand. I understand why people would like this formula, why HBO likes this formula. But I don't know. I thought for this season, there was just too much drama. I missed the lightheartedness of the original show.
Why didn't you just get an automatic?
I love this car. It goes with my outfit.
And because 99% of the viewers who are watching this show watched and loved the original show, I think most of us wouldn't mind if they went back to this old show format that was way more whimsical. And just like that, we've reached the end of our costume/show review. Yeah, thank you all for sticking around. Let me know in the comments what you think about this show, what you think about SATC in general, what you think about the costumes too. I'm curious to hear what you all think about that because I know it was definitely polarizing on Twitter, but I honestly didn't think they did a terrible job. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.